Hi there. Monday was a day we saw the changing face of Manchester United with confirmation of two big movements in the transfer market. Bryan Mbeumo is finally a Manchester United player, while Marcus Rashford will fulfil his dream of playing for Barcelona. There's a long way to go for United to sort out much needed business in this transfer window. And there's no doubt Ruben Amorim wanted more done before the squad fly out to Chicago for the pre-season tour of the USA. But Amorim is very much the man in charge, and that gives him the platform to mould the players he has available into a side that plays the way he wants them to play, without distraction, without dissenting voices. We'll look at the full tour squad shortly, but the players Amorim doesn't want in his squad are being left behind. That includes Sancho, Garnacho, Anthony, Malacia and Rashford, of course, now he's departed. It's not quite the end of Rashford's Manchester United story. Barca have signed Marcus on a one-year loan deal, but they do have the option to buy out his contract at the end of that loan period. I've got to be honest, I am surprised Barcelona pushed the boat out to recruit Rashford, especially as they have to get rid of at least one player before they can even register Marcus to play for them. Based on his form over the last couple of seasons, Marcus has been well below his very best. But I do believe there's no reason why Rashford can't be a brilliant signing for Barcelona. He's still only 27 and he's clearly a supremely talented player, if he can get his act together. Thomas Tuchel gave Rashford hope of playing in next summer's World Cup when he picked him for his first squad as England manager. And we did see some flashes of the old Marcus Rashford during his loan spell at Aston Villa at the end of last season. The great mystery, of course, is why it went so badly wrong at Old Trafford. 2 years ago, he scored 30 goals in a brilliant season for United. Then his numbers dried up after he signed a massive new contract that put him on well over £300,000 a week. Off-the-field activities seemed to be a big distraction for Rashford, and it didn't take long for Ruben Amorim to decide he saw no place for the academy graduate in his team going forward. The irony is United performed worse without Rashford than they did when Rashford was in the team last season. When he scored twice in the 4-0 win over Everton at the beginning of December, his last Premier League start for United, he was still United's top goal scorer. Ruben Amorim dropped him for the Manchester derby 2 weeks later and has not played for Manchester United since. No doubt Rashford deserves criticism for the way he clearly wasn't focused on playing for Manchester United, and fans rightly have felt let down. But what I find disappointing is how Rashford receives so much hate from certain sections of United's fan base. I don't understand why fans openly say they want Rashford to fail at Barcelona. Yes, he's let United down, and he burnt his bridges with most supporters when he said he wanted to leave. But let's not forget the brilliant goals he scored for United, or the fact he's had some great moments wearing our club colours. Maybe Ruben Amorim just wasn't the right coach to get the best out of Marcus Rashford. We'll soon see if Hansi Flick and Barcelona can bring the best out of Marcus Rashford. Flick certainly helped turn around the career of Rafinha and helped improve his game at Barcelona. My expectation is that Rashford too will be a huge success in Spain. Not least because many clubs won't be able to handle his pace and power. Football in Spain is a lot less physical than it is in the English Premier League. With Rashford going in one direction, Bryan Mbeumo, of course, is one of the players taking his place. Matheus Cunha took Rashford's number 10 shirt, and Mbeumo looks like a player who will complement Cunha perfectly. For everyone concerned, it was frustrating to see Mbeumo's transfer take 2 months to complete, but the bottom line is that Ruben Amorim has his man, and he does travel with the squad for the all-important pre-season tour of the USA. Symbolically, Mbeumo's confirmation as a United player came on the day Rashford is out the door and completely off the United payroll for the next 12 months at least. These two transfers confirm that Ruben Amorim is being backed by Jim Ratcliffe and the new Ineos regime, albeit at a snail's pace. Few clubs that finish 15th and find themselves out of Europe would have the resources to spend over £130 million in the transfer market. But giving Amorim a fighting chance of really competing this season is surely going to cost a lot more than that. Clearly, Ruben wants more new signings incoming, and there's plenty of speculation about who United want to sign next. I personally believe that prioritising players who are proven Premier League talent is a positive way forward for Manchester United. And for that reason, I'd put Ollie Watkins at the top of my list of strikers. Obviously, I'd go for Alexander Isak if money was no object, but it is. And United's absence from the Champions League makes signing a player like Isak nigh on impossible at this stage of our rebuild. It's humbling to see United unable to compete for the biggest transfer targets of the summer. The mess created by the owners has put us firmly behind Liverpool, behind City, behind Arsenal, behind Chelsea and others in the pecking order when it comes to attracting new signings. Not just because we're out of Europe and embarrassed by our worst ever Premier League season. Cash flow. Cash flow has become a big handicap. In recent years, it's become increasingly rare for United to compete for the most expensive signings. So United now have to overachieve without overspending, to bridge the gap that it's currently growing at an alarming speed. To do that, every signing has to exceed expectations, and the coach has to improve the players already at the club, or at least to get them playing as a team greater than the sum of its parts. The question is, how much progress can Amorim make with a squad where the only new faces so far are Mbeumo, Cunha and the youngster Diego Leon? A 29-man squad will make up the numbers for matches against West Ham in New Jersey, Bournemouth in Chicago and Everton in Atlanta. The stature of the opposition a sign of how United's marketing appeal has declined. Normally, we'd expect to see United take on the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal or Real Madrid in the States. But you could say United aren't ready for that standard of opponent at this stage of Ruben's rebuild. So, who will be the standout players on this pre-season tour? With goalkeeper Andre Onana injured and missing the start of the tour, who wears the jersey in the opening Premier League match against Arsenal on the August the 17th is already a big headache for Ruben Amorim. As things stand, Bayindir, Heaton and the untried Dermot Mee are the options if Onana doesn't make the opening day. In defence, we have plenty of options, but so far that three at the back formation has not worked out well for United, and we haven't had wing-backs who've nailed down that position. I think a lot of eyes will be on our 18-year-old new kid from Paraguay, Diego Leon, especially after he started so well in Stockholm on Saturday. Midfield is an area of the pitch where Amorim has had real problems. How does he get the best out of Bruno Fernandes? And what about Mainoo, one of the most exciting prospects in England before Amorim arrived, but used only as a fringe player so far by the new coach? For me, one of the biggest disappointments since Amorim took charge is his failure to find a dynamic role for Mainoo. Of course, failure to score enough goals was a massive handicap for United last season. And Ruben Amorim will be banking on that problem being partly solved by new signings Cunha and Mbeumo. But the number 9 position is still a problem, not helped by Xerxes also missing the first week of the tour with a slight injury. Meantime, I'm wondering what the future holds for Amad Diallo, listed here as a forward, but more than likely going to be pushed back to wing-back. I had planned to be on the tour again this year after making it to USA over the last 2 summers. But as things stand, I'm not going to be in the States this time around. Potential sponsors unimpressed with the current state of Manchester United Football Club. Personally, I believe the interest in United's pre-season tour and the build-up to the new season will be much the same as last year. Maybe more so, because this is the start of a new era. But sponsors want to be associated with winning football teams. And until United start winning again, the road ahead does look complicated. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And please watch one of these videos next if you want to support this channel.